Laborious Lovers. Today by
Rashi Chada and Ananya Malani, IEU Communications Lab students.
Sometimes we ask ourselves if doing a lab is a good idea. Is the time going to worth it? How I am going to manage the workload? A lab is going to be useful at the time to get a job? These questions and more are the ones that our laborious lovers who are already successfully working are going to answer.
The IEU Labs is a platform for university students like us to question and discover our abilities while developing various skill sets. It provides us a glimpse of how our potential future can be. Taking a look at how this has been successful for our alumni students, today we have with us Anna Brescia. I hope I pronounced that right. So she's an IE alumni student, almost alumni student, who is a part of the Marketing and Communications Insight Lab. Anna is a part of the graduating class of 2021. Along with this, she is presently an M&A consultant at KPMG, which is a multinational professional company of service networks. So, hi Anna, how are you? We're so happy to have you here with us today.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and I hope to have a lovely time with you girls.
Well, that's great. Could you please tell us a bit about yourself, as in what you do, what your responsibilities are at your workplace, and just in general about the things you enjoy doing?
Absolutely. So right now, as you said perfectly, I'm working in KPMG as a consultant, and what we do is that we develop platforms and multiples so that we can properly analyze and find a better way, best way actually, to find the best price to which competitor could buy one company, or we can just help the companies to have like a buyer or seller side depending on what they are planning to do as a strategical action. So say that, other than that, what we do is that we develop pitches. So what are pitches? So pitch, it's the presentation of a company to a possible fundraisers. And other than that, we are actually busy in developing as well multiple platforms where, like right now, KPMG is focusing on fintech, which is a whole new section of the company, which usually they were not focusing upon.
Wow, that sounds super interesting, and I hope you enjoy doing your work. But at the same time, we would like to get an insight as to why you chose IE in the first place, and how do you think IE has developed as a community ever since you graduated?
Great question. When I was choosing IE, I was choosing it for its internationality. So the fact that I was going to be able to spend my 4 years of university are surrounded by people that have a different background than mine. I was going to be able to fully enrich my career as the 4 years progress by fully understanding the different point of views and being able to apply their knowledge on maybe a problem that I might have seen in a different light than they might have, and then to be able to understand fully the reason that stands behind their point of view. And that's the main point why I chose IE at the first place. And then the second question was how it developed IE. Well, it developed in the sense that I believe there is a sense of community and it's getting stronger as the time progresses. And for example, right now there is another IE student in my firm, and I noticed that as soon as he walked in, we were already a community. So furthermore, IE doesn't just develop a community within IE, but we're able to develop the community even outside IE. Even though I have never met this student before, we were able to develop this strong connection as a community outside as well.
I'm sure you have a lot of workload. I mean, having university side by side with your job. So, in what year did you do your lab?
I took my lab in my first year of university.
Okay, so if I'm not wrong, it's the Marketing and Consumer Insights Lab.
That is correct.
Okay.
I'm on Mentor.
So could you just tell us a bit about, why you joined this lab? How was it? How was, how was your experience with it?
Absolutely. So I chose this lab because at the beginning I was intrigued by the professors and I fell in love with the subject per se. So I wanted to learn more about it and to actually apply the knowledge that I learned in the classes in a full practical mode. that I did not have the chance during the lessons to apply. And so the marketing lab fell in the perfect time frame because I was able to apply what we were learning at the time to a perfect case study where we were actually working with companies that are very important, such as Coca-Cola, Trident, Ambienter, and Mercasa for the Spanish industry. It was a great way of applying what I learned in the class with my peers and then applying it with my team outside of the class.
Well, I'm sure you must have enjoyed it a lot. Could you just tell us about the work environment there?
Yes, absolutely. It was lovely. I remember it was a great way of developing a team building environment. I remember having a great time with my peers, and we were obviously busy working, but at the same time, we were enjoying the progress and the process because we got to, for example, interview many people around either the campus or outside the campus in both case scenarios to understand fully the mindset of the consumers of the different products that we were analyzing. And it was a great way of developing as well a trust environment where we would split up and get the tasks done to then develop the full pitch for the final presentation in front of the company. So it was very interesting and it was very enlightful.
I'm sure it was. At the same time, do you think the lab was a platform to make good connections and friends while learning different skills?
Absolutely, because I remember that the lab per se was not just restricted to BBA students. So I did get to spend time with students that were studying, for example, double degrees, or were just studying something completely different than business. So it was very interesting to see their point of view with a different approach while we were trying to solve the same problem. It was a great way of developing friendly environment as well because we got to learn from each other and we got to listen to each other and we got to implement and trying to understand which was going to be the best solution for the problem that we were all solving together. And we avoided conflicts at all costs and we as a family almost collaborated together for the greater good.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that myself because I remember my communications group in this first year. We were all just, we just wanted a solution. We never got into that whole thing of bickering. We avoided conflicts, like you said. So, I mean, I can completely relate to that. And that's how the process goes smoothly. Okay, so we'll move on to the next questions. Would you say that the lab that you were in, was it a student fostering environment, as in was it promoting initiatives and pushing you for new ideas, just trying to challenge you?
Absolutely. I felt like obviously we had a little bit of background information. So the first class was about trying to find a common ground and sharing the common information that we develop as a BBA student throughout our classes. But for example, dual degree student or student from a completely different bachelor might have not had those informations and those basic start point. And so I remember that maybe the first few lessons were just sharing the common informations. And then from that point onwards, it was all up to us to come up with ideas, to come up with brainstorming moments and trying to develop the best way of tackling an issue or a query they might have raised, and we all try to solve it together. Or maybe the client per se might have come up with a problem or a challenge, and we all had to come up with ideas and brainstorm again. And maybe we might have spent the whole month developing one idea, and then someone tackles it and attacks it. So we all have to together try to reason out what's the best solution to make up the possible best solution for the client. So we're not just seeing it as, oh, we're just students that are just applying our knowledge, but we were actually seeing it as, oh, we are working for these very important companies that have an image outside there, so we need to give them our best shot.
Another really important question that we have about the labs is, how was your experience with it, and how do you think it contributed to where you are right now? I mean, was the experience similar to an actual corporate environment, or was it any different?
That's a great question, and I would like to say that it was helpful up to the point where I was able to apply my creative mind. I was able to develop a team building spirit. Now, it is different in a corporate environment in the sense that what's happening is that marketing lab was actually fully developed on showing off your ideas and being fully on creative. Meanwhile, the corporate world is actually, at least in KPMG, in the financial advisory sector, we are actually fully on logical mindset. So because we're working like hands-on with numbers, so fully mathematical hands-on mode. What's happening is that obviously we do have a little bit of creative mindset in the corporate world, but it's not full on as the marketing lab had. So it was interesting because even though I have so few creative moments, I'm still able to show off those creative mindset moments within the corporate world, and I'm able to fully have a team spirit environment, which we all collaborate together, which was all thankfully built throughout the marketing lab experience.
While that sounds helpful, was there any special moment that you vividly remember with a professor or a client or any colleague in general?
Absolutely. So I remember vividly that Ramon Mendez, who's actually helped us to show off our minds and show off our ideas to the clients and to better achieve the best solution. And I remember that Ramon Mendez was the one pushing us to always achieve the best solution as possible. And it was very helpful because in the end, all our little struggles, all our little queries, all our little moments where we were not sure what we were supposed to do, in the end, he was pushing us to always achieve the best shot as possible. In the end, it all helped and pushed us to achieve the best pitches possible for Coca-Cola European Partner, which was our biggest pitch for an international personnel, which is fully present worldwide.
Wow, you have a great memory. That's really nice to hear. Anyways, we're gonna change the subject a little over here. So, as you must have noticed, that IE has changed a lot since you have joined the university, including the upcoming IE Tower, which is the highlight for every IE student right now. So, can you tell us about your point of view as to how IE University has grown ever since you've joined?
I feel like since I joined, IE started to fully and suddenly, like not suddenly, but it started to little by little get closer and closer to the corporate world. And at the beginning, I remember it was fully on focused on the marketing world. So I remember that I was amazed by the marketing tactics and techniques that we're applying. But now I realize that obviously as the world is changing and we are all developing different skills and different wishes to change and develop more knowledge as possible, even for example in programming, because I learned that the year after I started studying uni, they started learning programming because in the world they're starting to ask more about obviously the programming knowledge. So what's happening is that IE is little by little trying to implement what the world is asking for the students and the people, and trying to implement it in the study programs of the students within IE, fully develop a student that is actually capable of facing the challenges of the everyday world that is our society today.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I guess we're gonna move on to know if you really know IE. This is just to refresh a few memories that you have about the labs, about the university as well. Let's see how much you know about it. Just a quick quiz. I think we only have time for it for like 2 questions since we've gotten like 15-20 minutes of the whole recording. So let's get to it. So how many floors does the IE tower have?
T5, I believe.
Yeah, you're correct. So the IE tower stands 180 meters tall with 35 floors covering 50,000 square feet meters. It also includes 7,000 square meters of green space, and the building is one of the few high-rise university campuses in the entire world. This was fun, Anna. We do not think that we have time for more questions, but lastly, any advice or tip that you would like to give the current and prospective IE students about the labs, about IE in general? Please go ahead.
For the labs, choose the ones that best fit your passions. So if you want to learn more about, for example, marketing, then absolutely, marketing lab is the best choice because you not only get to apply the knowledge that you learned into class if you're a BBA student, or if you're a student from another degree, then and you want to learn more about marketing and the different marketing strategies, absolutely, Marketing Lab is the best way to start to develop a basic and still pretty strong starting point for any marketing knowledge you may develop further in the future. And you get as well to study with your peers that might come from different degrees. So you do get to see different aspects of different problem solvings, and at the same time you get to see the insights of many people that might have studied a different background than yours, and you get to know more about different information that may go through their minds because they study something different.
Wow, that's really inspiring, Anna, I must say.
So lastly, we had asked you to select a song that reminds you of your days at the university, and we would love to play it for you.
Ooh, I would love to hear Viva la Vida from Cosplay because it was the best time, and obviously Viva la Vida is Spanish. It's
Okay, I got
so
you.
best cultural mix.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much for joining. It was great having you with us, and I'm sure our listeners, and so have Ananya and I, learned a lot through this whole conversation, and I hope you enjoyed the experience as well.
Thank you. It was amazing. I enjoyed so much your company, and it was a fun interview. So thank you so much for choosing me, and I hope I was helpful to clear up some minds and queries throughout this interview.
You definitely were. I mean, it was a pleasure to have you here.
To let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe